All right, guys, it is Friday and the markets has not recovered this week. I guess you can say this is the first real major loss of the week in which the markets did not recover. However, this was a week in which I did a midweek video because I made sure to come in on a Wednesday and let you guys know that this was a sensible time to actually take all of the profits from any Monday position swings that you would have had if you were trading anything non-directional. On Monday, I forgot to mention the FOMC announcement that came out right here on Wednesday, so that's why I made sure to check in with you guys on Wednesday. I also forgot to mention on Monday's video that this is quad witching, which is a major options expiration week where there is generally going to be strange activity. So although the market is not doing what we expected it to do, we can say this is the week in which strange things happened, such as this. I was more so expecting the markets to stay around this range for this week. However, I made sure on Monday to let you guys know that 660 was not a high conviction support level this week. It was a level that is not surprising that it broke, and that was just from me analyzing the gamma exposure profile. Any other normal week, I would have expected this to be a major support. An indication right here was the market just gapped down below it. That was already scary. We can actually see here today that the market's gapped down below yesterday's support level. That's always going to be a red flag, as after the opening drive, the markets cannot even hold this level here. So that's an early sign if you're looking for a 0 DTE kind of lotto trade on a Friday, that this is probably not the type of price action that you want to see. A gap down below the previous day support when there was this much consolidation, when we are already in net negative gamma territory and we've already broken below the highest negative gamma strike. If there's anything you take away from this video, make sure you remember that. Now, if we take a look at the VIX, I made sure to mention on Monday's video, there was already some slight divergence happening in the VIX, but if we take a look at this here, the divergence is still sort of here now. We have a little bit of a bullish sign, but we're going to say it's a little bullish because it's not aggressively right now. This divergence is aggressive, however. So the market has gone way below Friday's low, and the VIX is still hovering around where Friday's close was. So that right there, we can interpret there being a divergence in implied volatility if we're using VIX as a proxy for implied volatility. A caveat of that is to understand that the VIX is calculated based on 30 days or about 30 DTE worth of options expirations on the SPX, SPY, we'll say the S&P 500. So with 30 days into consideration, that means if you're going for a 1 DTE type of trade and you're using this as your reason to take your trade, you might want to consider maybe giving your trade something like a 15 DTE and even going with a 30 DTE. The way I interpret this would be over the next 30 days, the market is going to be above this level if it is below it. So in other words, if the market continues to trend down for the next, week or two, it means in the third week, I'll expect the markets to come right back up to 650. That's just off of the fact that the implied volatility has not gone increasingly higher. But as I'm recording this video before the market closes in an hour and 20 minutes. So there's still power hour left here for today. We can see that the VIX is currently breaking this week's high. It has not taken out this level from Friday, and it has not even taken out last week's high. So these are things to consider. We take this information and we move it forward. I just went out to a 30-minute time frame so we can see a little bit more price action. This is Monday of last week. This is where the VIX opened the week. This was it in the extended hours. Still has a long way to climb if it was to get back up to these levels, even though the market has sold off much more than where it was at that level. That is divergence. The VIX should be hovering somewhere around here, at least next to the 2 sigma level from Quant Trading app. Now on the daily time frame, we have finally come down to the 200 daily moving average. That was something that was mentioned in the very first video of this series, and we have finally gotten down to it. It was a strange decline down to it, although from a technical standpoint, we did have the breakdown of this wedge. We had the retest of it, and then the downtrend just started happening pretty cleanly. But this is not your usual or your normal, panic kind of bearish type of markets, we'll say here. It's kind of this controlled selling. I don't know if the high frequency trading algorithms have become more efficient at liquidating positions, or people are just not that scared anymore, or we can speculate that the 1 DTE and the 0 DTE implied volatility decreases on the 0 DTE and 1 DTE options is suppressing some of the free fall selling pressure that we're used to. Usually when there is a massive, panic selling, this is more so what we see. It's much more sharp, but we're not getting that this year. So we are selling off. We are far away from a bear market. So if you start seeing that term being thrown away, being thrown out there, I wouldn't be too concerned with it right now. Bear markets, depending on how you measure it, for some, it is a 20% decrease from the high. So if we were to take a look at this right here, this is me just loosely drawing these things out, by the way. Here, if we come down here, 20% decline is all the way down here. So around that's 560 level, which puts the market down here. So it still has a long way to go before we are technically in a bear market, if that's what you use as your definition. Others use the death cross. So the death cross is when the 50 SMA, 50 daily moving average, 50 DMA, which is this orange level on my charts, when this orange line crosses over the 200 daily moving average. So until these two cross like this, that's what's referred to as a death cross. And this is a golden cross. So in other words, if we look back here, these are some anchored VWAPs. Sorry if it's a little confusing, but this right here is what we call a death cross. You see how this level crossed below this one. So this is when, in some textbooks, we'll refer to this is when the bear market started, and then this is where the bear market ends. So death cross, golden cross, this was the bear market. Others say once the market is down 20% from its high. So you guys can see right here, this was that 20% decline, and look at what happened. The market bounced from there, but then this is when we were officially out of the bear markets, and then the markets is in a bull market. We are technically, from that definition, still in a bull market. The definitions in however we brand or label these things is just for, I think, historical references. For the most of us that are trading right now, we just want to know, can we make money right now, or is it a good time to invest? Or so we know that historically at the 200 daily moving average is a time to start considering it, but you want to wait for an uptrend to start establishing itself. These are some anchored VWAPs. So this is an anchored VWAP from last year's low, and we are coming up to this anchored VWAP here. That's obviously going to be an area of interest. We'll call it 640, 642 in that range here. We want to see if the market gets down to this. We don't know, but we want to monitor that. The volume profile range this week, we can take a look. It did break down below the value area low, which is why we are below that, but it did put up a fight before ultimately breaking down here today. And we can see that the value area high and the supply zone that was mentioned in Monday's video did work out for the bears in this case here. This was a presumed demand zone, as the markets did break out, retrace, and then bounce off of it. And then when I did the video in the middle of the week, at that point in time, on a Wednesday, I would have been expecting this to hold, but it did not hold. The markets broke down below it. So now it is a supply zone, and we can see how that has paid off for short sellers. And for myself, I took a bunch of lottos that none of which worked out. I actually took a 1 DTE trade on Wednesday, thinking the market was going to bounce back up to here. And then I also took a 2 DTE targeting here, also in case it took an extra day. And both of those trades are essentially dead. They were broken wing, really cheap XSP broken wing butterflies. This is what they looked like here. I'll actually just show the results. So you see this here, ended up being a full loss. So this was what we're talking about here. So even with a couple lots, just keeping the risk under $100, as these are low probability but high potential for reward if the markets did bounce back up to that 6,700 level or that 670 level on the SPY. Did not happen. So this is how you can take the thoughts that I have early in the week, and even with all the crazy headlines and price action and quad witching and FOMC and all the craziness that's going on in the world, I'm still saying, hey, I think that the markets might bounce back up and come back to this level, because I did spot a little bit of divergence with implied volatility and the SPY. We were technically at a support level at the time in which I was opening it, but also knowing that if these supports did not hold, things were going to get pretty ugly. Now I've shifted gears and I don't really want to participate in, things down here. I already have another speculative trade on for Monday, thinking that maybe if the implied volatility might decrease over the weekend, and maybe we get some sort of gap up. So it is a call debit spread, but again, low probability, low risk, high reward if that works out. Don't really care if I take 5-6 of these trades and they all go to zero, as I'm risking $100, $150 here and there. It's not a good approach, not a best way to trade, but relative to the size and position that I'm used to trading when I'm putting on my main trades, essentially just risking some of the profits that was already realized on Wednesday from positions that were swung from Monday into Wednesday, as well as Friday into Wednesday and the previous week's Monday into Wednesday. So this was kind of a soft reset for myself. Not that, again, these videos are specifically about my exact trades, but in case you were wondering what would a trader such myself be thinking or doing during this market, I took losses for the past 48 hours. It's nothing but losses, but they are silly, out the money, low probability, but low risk, high reward type of asymmetrical trades. The bulk of my positions were closed out on Wednesday, and I'm going to look to start essentially fresh on a Monday if I see some things that I like. The beauty of this is you don't need to rush or force the markets. It will eventually ease up, and we've been on fire for a couple months now. So why ruin all of that great progress by trying to force progress? This is essentially a good time, if anything, to maybe take a week off and just relax, maybe until Wednesday of next week, let the dust settle, see what the market is going to do. And that might be my approach coming into Monday. I don't want to ruin what has been tremendous momentum for 2 months straight, especially if you guys have been following along with this weekly series on YouTube. You guys know everything has essentially been going to gold. This is a week in which I did not decide to have any type of major hedges also, which is why I closed all the positions on Wednesday. I didn't want to have to deal with any of the mayhem that could have come after the FOMC announcement. Obviously, the markets did not like what it was said here, and we are seeing it in price action, but there are some other additional macro headlines that are affecting things. So we will come back on Monday and see how things are looking. Just wanted to make sure to, keep up with the recap videos at the end of the week. Not much to report, I guess you can say, if you wanted to see the positions here. Obviously, the Iron Condor is going to be a max loss here today, as I don't think the market is going to bounce 1.6% before the close here today. But we were already hitting our profit targets by Wednesday. And if you were curious, by Thursday, let's just say you decided to hold it 1 day longer and you didn't want to take profits and you held it through and you're like, oh, I'm going to hold it into Thursday. The trade was essentially almost break even by Thursday. And if we take a look at the price history, let's actually remember that this trade now, I'm now marking the trade from the afternoon session here. So let's just say you see the YouTube videos in the afternoon, and I'm not even using the Monday morning price. I'm using the afternoon. So call this 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, so during power hour. This would have been on the 16th. So if we take a look at the price history chart here and we go to the 16th, this is essentially about 550. We'll say that would have been, a realistic fill for this. The trade, as you guys can see, was green all the way up until Thursday, and even at Thursday, it just returns back to the same price. So there was the opportunity to hold it to see what was going to happen. And then at Thursday, during the same time at 3:30 p.m., so middle of power hour on a Thursday, there was still opportunity to walk away with a profit of, I think, about $1 of the credits received at that point, which would have been, I don't know, what is that, 16, 17%, somewhere in that range here at this point. And the trade only really, fell apart here today. So this is our first Iron Condor that we've seen in 9 weeks, mind you, that is going to result in a max loss that was completely unhedged, but would have been closed on a Wednesday. So theoretically, if you are still holding, this is now 1 out of 9 or 1 out of 8 or so Iron Condors that has not worked out with a max loss, and you're not really that stressed or that pressed, I would imagine. And then we have the accounts builder, similar situation. Profit target was hit, holding until Thursday. This trade did even well. So let's just say, assuming you wanted to hold, instead of closing at the proper time before the FOMC announcements, you wanted to just hold for 1 more day and see what would happen around 660. Well, in that case, the Iron Condor was essentially break even or slightly in profit right around here. And at the same time, the 11 to 15 DTE accounts builder Ironfly would have yielded a really nice return, because we're looking at it from here to here. This would have been around Thursday, yesterday here, which would have been the 19th. We can see that that is a nice decay. So selling this option, this butterfly, for around $81 and then buying it back for $77 or so. That is over $400 in profit with one of these and about $100 in profits in this. So it still ends up being a net $500 return if you held into late Thursday or middle of the afternoon, we'll say Eastern time on a Thursday, using 1900 bucks here and 450 bucks here, so less than 2.5k. A return of $500 is excellent, and this fits the criteria of an account between 5 to 10k, not taking on too much risk. A $500 return for a position held from a Monday to a Thursday, even though you should have been closing it on a Wednesday, you're still doing pretty good, I would say. And those are the only two, major positions that would have been addressed here this week. Just wanted you guys to see how the price history played out. It is only really going to trouble today. As we can see, it's essentially at its break even. And now a trader would decide, do they want to close something like this or potentially swing into next week? And if you do take that risk over the weekend, and implied volatility decreases a little bit, so obviously there's room for a really nice win if the market comes back to that 660 level, which is where I would expect it. If it was to bounce, it would go back up to, but now you are playing a dangerous game, because if the market goes down, you see here, this is where the risk to reward is generally not really going to be worth it with something like this. I would just close out something like this and then go with a cheaper spread that can kind of yield not the same results, but something that won't be as much risk and capital for if the market does not recover, but can potentially put in a really nice reward. So something like this, instead of risking a full $1,800 for next week, change the position and use I immediately just went down to the XSP, but let's just say maybe go with 150 bucks, 200 bucks here or so. And if the markets does bounce, you can still pull out, anywhere from 600 to 400 bucks, which is right around what should have been your profit target anyway. Does that make sense? That is in a sense a video in itself of this is how you can manage your risk. Eliminate how much capital you have in the markets. Use much less capital, much less margin, but you don't have to sacrifice much of the same type of reward here. Obviously, holding this all the way until expiration would be incredible, but you're just playing a dangerous game and you're closer to gambling versus being a risk manager. So just wanted to share on these couple trades here, the updates to them, and the recap of this week. Let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments down below. Like it if you learned something. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you are new here, and I look forward to catching you guys on the next one. Enjoy.